listening to Tapped In, Buncombe County's half hour to empower on WRES 100.7 FM in Asheville. Listen up and get tapped into local important resources, information, and topics. Learn more about the topics of today's show at buncombecounty.org. Okay, it's time to get tapped in.
Hello, and welcome to this day in this year for Tapped In. That's right, you're listening to Zakiya Bell Rogers and my amazing co-host.
And I'm Leonard Jones.
He is the Professor Leonard Jones. And today, Leonard and I come to you from the Communications and Public Engagement Department of Buncombe County. Some heroes wear a cape. They actually named us Cape.
Joining us today is our guest whose department has been working on a 20-year land use plan, known as the 2043 Buncombe County Comprehensive Plan. We have had several conversations on this radio over the past year about this plan, but we want to keep the community up to date and informed about where the county is in this process of drafting this plan. We are now in phase 4 or chapter 4, so we have Halyee Madfis, who is a planner with Buncombe County, to share information and let us know how the community can participate and engage with this process. Welcome, Halyee.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Halyee, for coming on down and being here with us. I think a lot of times, like when we roll something out, it's so foreign to our community because our community changes a lot, and some things are just absolutely new. So can we just go over what is a comprehensive plan?
Definitely. That's a great question, Zakiya. So this is our first ever comprehensive plan for Buncombe County. We have had some land use plans specifically. Obviously, we've had our strategic plans. So a comprehensive plan is kind of all in the name. It's a big, long-range, broad planning document that looks 20 years into the future. It's our vision. It's what the community wants to see 20 years from now. So in 2043, what do we want the community to be like? And so this is how we plan for that. It focuses on how we're going to grow, how we're going to conserve our environment, how we can plan for parks, healthcare, all kinds, protecting our community through hazard mitigation and resilience, infrastructure and energy. So like I said, it's very comprehensive, broad, a lot of topics, a little overwhelming.
So Halyee, I heard you say this was the first time Buncombe County has ever done this. And so we know in Buncombe County we have incorporated areas and then unincorporated areas. So the residents of Asheville may say, the city of Asheville had a comprehensive plan. So how will this comprehensive plan for Buncombe County interact or engage with the other comprehensive plans like Woodfin and city of Asheville?
Another great question. So the city, I believe, adopted their most recent comprehensive plan in 2019. Mm-hmm. I think Woodfin is currently still working on theirs. Okay. I believe all the towns have comprehensive plans. So Weaverville and Black Mountain for sure. And this is for unincorporated Buncombe County. That's our jurisdiction. That's definitely the focus. But we can't plan in a vacuum, and we have to partner with our neighbors, and the town and the towns and the city are very important partners to us. So we have spoken with them early on in the process and have had multiple meetings, and we know that we need to collaborate on a lot of these efforts.
Okay.
All right. And I know that Leonard said that we're in chapter 4 of this amazing plan. And, a lot of work has gone on. Can you tell us about the first 3 chapters and how that rolled out and what was done?
Yes. So chapter 1 was really a preparation phase. Mm-hmm. So that started back in October 2021. Right? Yeah, 21. And we spoke with the city of Asheville, all of the municipalities in Buncombe County. We spoke with our surrounding municipalities. So we got to talk to Henderson County, all the counties around us. And we got to talk to a lot of other stakeholders in the community, our MSD, water suppliers, those kind of folks. So we got some really good, heavy background information. In chapter 2, that was our first time going out into the community. So we got our big community engagement phase 1 going. We hosted about 10 in-person Community meetings, that was in March to April, I believe, of 2022. And we got a decent turnout for that. I believe it was just over 1,000 people took the poll. That was our first poll, asking a lot of questions. It was a big one, remember? 20 some odd questions. It was a big lift.
Yeah.
So then from there, we went into chapter 3, which is our second engagement phase. And we used a lot of that information that we got in the chapter 2 that we heard from the public. We came back and we said, we heard that you all said this. Is this right? Are we right? Are we on the right path? So we were sort of checking in chapter 3. And we did a lot of engagement, as you all probably remember. We did 30 plus intercept events this summer. And so we were out in the community all over the place.
So I heard you said it's like a vision, how we vision the county to be in 20 years. So what were some of those vision things that came out of that chapter 1 through 3 process?
Yeah, so we are kind of pulling that together. We have 5 vision themes that are going to guide the plan. These are like the highest level, very aspirational, reach for the stars types of visions. And so those are strive to achieve equity, commit to sustainability, achieve livability and affordability, focus on conservation, and root efforts in community.
And I think it's so great that we have those, and we hear a lot of those words all the time, and people say, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important for everybody to come to the table. If you can, find the table, sit at it,
Yes.
give your part. And someone, I remember we were looking through Facebook, because we put a lot of information on Buncombe County's webpage on Facebook, or site post on Facebook, and a lot of people were like, 20 years, what about right now? And explain how this plan, yes, it's 2043, but how that plan actually starts as soon as we develop it, so that we can look like that.
Yes, exactly. It is a little confusing because we're like, what's your 20-year vision? But no one gets there, by waiting 20 years. We have to start acting now. So once this plan is adopted, and hopefully that's in the spring of this coming year, so spring of 23, we will have all these actions ready for us to take on. So the final draft of the plan will have dozens of actions, and we, as a planning department, along with other departments in Buncombe County, will start making changes to our zoning ordinance, our other land use ordinances. And so we're going to start seeing these changes happen, over the next couple of years. The other big thing this plan will impact is our next strategic plan. So that will help guide staff's day-to-day work. So this is going to start, trickling down into the county, into departments, and we'll have our yearly budgets and be directed by the plan, immediately.
Oh yeah. You want to go?
Go ahead.
You let me go. And we think about 20 years, and folks go, "Oh, that's so long ago."
Yes.
And in my head, I'm like, yeah, that's so long ago. And I think, oh, what was I doing 20 years ago? Oh, I wasn't even born. That was the 70s. And then I'm like, oh my God, no, that was actually the 90s.
Yes.
And so people have to understand that 20 years seems so far away. But it actually is 3 naps in a season. That I calculated it. And so, but again, we have to really push the fact that this is important, not just for us who are already here, but for those who are coming behind us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And this is truly, seeing a building and going, okay, how do we put this building together? Like an artist may draw a building, and then you go in and they're like, okay, well, how do we get these doors here? What type of door? You break all those things down, and then you say, this is the date we're going to have all that.
Yes.
And then in 10 years, we have this house exactly like we planned, but we all worked together and we did the work together. So I think that's so important for the community to know that we have to work together on this. Okay, so now we have a 2043 comprehensive plan exhibit.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. That sounds exciting
It's-
and nervous.
yeah.
It makes me a little nervous because it's like, oh my goodness, all the work we've done is really coming out.
Yeah.
This is really real. How can the community attend or get involved?
Yeah, that's another great question. So we are very excited to put on this comprehensive plan exhibit. It's all the work that we have done in planning in Cape as residents in the community. It's all the work that the residents have done. And so they're going to be able to see all the information that they've given us, the questions that they answer, they're going to come to life. So we will be starting that exhibit in person at a number of our libraries. I believe the date that it begins is December 12th. You can go online and do a virtual exhibit. And you can find that on engage.buncombecounty.org. You can also find the dates and locations for the in-person exhibits on that website as well. And yeah, so this is going to be a way for people who weren't able to catch every phase, every moment. They'll see everything. There'll be lots of posters. There'll be a big timeline showing every event that's been done. There'll be lots of fun photos of capturing people engaging. We'll have a really nice exhibit of all the kids' postcards that were submitted. So we got some great kids' artwork involved. And there's also an opportunity there for people to take a look at the draft plan.
So when they see this draft plan, what's some of what will they see? Will it just be heavily policies, or is it kind of more things that's more tangible to the average Joe on the street?
Yeah, so it is a very heavy policy document because that's really what the plan is. But it's a little bit pared down. So it will be a little smaller version of the final plan. But it's not really going to miss much. You'll be able to read through all of those vision themes I mentioned, our goals, which we have 7 goals that kind of outline the whole plan into the different chapters of the plan, and then we have our policies and actions. And the actions are like the real, what we're going to be doing. So people can kind of like flip through if they just want to skip to the actions and see what we're going to get into and make comments on that. Oh, okay, like I like that action, or this action needs a little tweaking. So this is the opportunity. This is the final opportunity to make any comments that people kind of want to take a look at.
So they can still give feedback. I heard you say that they can put comments and stuff. So those feedbacks are still, so since it's in the draft phase, some of those suggestions that's coming out of this chapter 4 phase will be incorporated into the final plan, right?
That's right, yeah. So it's not too late to give your feedback and get involved. We'll be taking open comments. We'll also have some pointed questions to kind of focus the reading of the plan so that people don't feel like so overwhelmed. It'll be a little bit more like keep it organized. We'll have some questions and some activities that people can do to help make the plan better for everybody.
And I heard you say that part of it was virtual, but there's also in-person kind of events as well.
There'll be, I believe, 10 in-person event opportunities. Most of those are at our libraries. I could rattle them off now, or you could go check them out online. We will have one event that will be hosted at our Health and Human Services building at 40 Cox Avenue. And so we'll be all around the county. We've made sure to spread this event through the libraries that are out in the county, some a little closer to the city, so that hopefully it's easy for people to get to. And so just be aware that these exhibits it's a moving exhibit. So it will be at, for instance, the Black Mountain Library on December 15th, but then it's moving on December 16th to the Weaverville Library.
Okay.
So you'll have to catch it. Make sure you check the dates and you can catch it, but the date where it is.
Okay, so it's like the comprehensive plan train.
Yeah, it's like a circus.
Yeah,
Moving, traveling circus.
That's really cool because, if you're most of us are going to be out in the next few weeks.
Yes.
Our kids are going to be out of school
Yes.
the next couple of weeks. sending a big hugs for all those parents who have multiple children who will be out next in a couple of weeks. But this would be a great thing to take their kids to.
Yes,
and to really get the family involved. Even if you have a grandma, grandpa, mom, kids, if you can take the time, I just really encourage you all to go and look at it and see what's actually being planned, because it's so important. And you can possibly give your feedback to that. And again, you can go to engage.buncombecounty.org, and you will be able to find the information that is virtual. You can review it on engage.buncombe.
Yep.
And what else can you do? Like, can you submit? Are there any more polls we have to take? Is there anything else that we need to make sure they know they need to get ready for?
Yeah. So, if you want to walk through the virtual exhibit, there is an opportunity to just click on the last button and review the plan, submit. It's sort of a poll. It's really more, I guess, of an activity that helps guide you through the draft. So it's just reviewing the draft, but these activities help you kind of stay organized. They ask you some pointed questions so that you can think about, okay, this is a comment I want to make about this plan. So yes, there is an opportunity for one last activity / poll, and you can just skip to that as well on the Engage website if you don't want to go and look at the virtual exhibit and you're like, I'm just ready to dig into that plan. You can just jump to that button and go take a look at the draft plan right away.
And so I know when we first started talking about the comprehensive plan that this, it's a 20-year plan, but the county wanted to be very intentional that this is a ground up kind of process to make sure that community is involved. Can you just speak to some of how the county was intentional about reaching out to various communities from rural areas to our urban centers, different races and stuff? You just want to share how we've been more intentional and just trying to be more equitable about this process?
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, and it's been a learning process for us from day one, especially during COVID. But yeah, we have reached out. We made a real big effort to make sure that if we did have in-person meetings, that we were going to go out into the rural areas of the county. We got out to Sandy Mush, we got out to Barnardsville, in a little closer into town, into Fairview and Candler, Inca. So we made sure to spread geographically pretty well. We're lucky because the county, we do have community centers, we do have libraries and places where people do gather out in the county. So that was nice. We also were able to connect with our Latinx and African American communities through various avenues. CAPE was really influential in connecting us with some of our African American communities through the legacy neighborhood groups. And as far as one of our legacy neighborhood groups, Emma, we were able to connect with through a member on our steering committee. We were able to get into Emma pretty well and get a lot of our materials, if not most of our materials, translated into Spanish, which has been really helpful to communicate with people who primarily speak Spanish. We've definitely tried to partner with some of the groups that serve people with disabilities in the county, get a little bit better about making sure things are screen reader friendly, because that was a big hurdle for us to learn about, visually impaired. Access to the materials. And as far as access is concerned, we try to make sure most of the buildings that we choose are accessible and that there's plenty of parking, that sort of thing. Am I missing anything? That's off the top of my head.
So I just got some fun stuff to say. Because just to make it kind of exciting, because I'm one of those people, and I was like, so we say 2043. So what happens in 2043 besides our comprehensive plan being checked off and being amazing, absolutely awesome? Well, those who were born in 1978 will be 65. You'll be ready to sign up for Medicare. Those who are born in 2025. Who are not here yet, as long as they're there before the voting date, they'll be able to vote.
Wow.
And all those little kids that are running around right now driving us crazy who were born in 2021 will be graduating from high school.
Wow.
So when we think about this, we're like, you know, these are a lot of things that's going to happen. We have no idea, you know, how important this is until you put it in perspective. Like all these folks, like we're looking, like, okay, I'm going to be honest. I'll be 63 in 2043. I'll still be happy and working and, you know, doing all those things. But, you know, we think about time like that. But when you put it on other folks' lives, so what do you want in your community? Those who have had babies in 2021, those who may have a baby in 2025, or those who were born in 1978. How do you want this community to look? How do you want it to feel? I think back when we were kids, we're all about on the same age, you know, pocketbook, and the Jetsons. I think this year was actually the year that George Jetson was born.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, I know.
That's
I know
cool.
weird stuff like that.
I love that.
It's so
That's
terrible.
a great fact.
Don't judge me.
Yeah.
My siblings call me all kind of weird things because of it. But we think about the things that we grew up with as kids, and they had flying cars and all these things. Well, he was like a 30-something-year-old person. But so, you know, this is, you know, so when you start putting it into like reference of your life and things that you want, like what could actually be possible in 2043? And that's why I think it's so important for us to get involved in our community and really, really just put the pen to the paper, the voices, you know, into the air and really get out there. So, you know, we don't have that much time left. We have about 9 minutes maybe. Okay. And so, is there anything that you want to really, really just drive home to our folks about this comprehensive plan?
Yeah, I think that, you know, it sounds like, you know, we're kind of, at least for me, it feels like we're kind of like, all right, we're getting to the end. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I think it's important to remember that we're not done yet. Yeah. And there's still opportunities to, you know, get engaged, to make a comment, you never know where that comment might lead. I mean, it could shift things, maybe not drastically, but slightly, and it could really impact your community by kind of just taking a moment to read the draft or do part of it even. That's another thing I wanted to say. If you feel overwhelmed by the draft plan or any of these activities, if you just do one thing, you know, that's still impactful. And, you know, it like Zakiya said, this is for everyone. This is all of our plan. It does have a really broad reach. It has a really far reach, that 20 years. It's a little overwhelming. But yeah, I think that anyone could still get involved, even if you missed all of the first ones. The exhibit is going to be really helpful to catch you up on what happened, so you won't feel like you missed something. You won't feel left out. You'll get caught up, and then you can jump right in, take a peek, make a comment, or if it's perfect, you're like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
And where can they find that exhibit again? Like, can you get a web address? Or
yes, I will give a more specific web address also. So it's going to be engage.buncombecounty.org/Y4853. And so that will bring you right there.
Okay. And so just as, you know, I know we're about to wrap up, but just sitting here thinking, I'm a native of the area, and you think of how much we work, live, and play within Buncombe County, and going between Asheville, Buncombe County, Black Mountain. And so that's why we strongly encourage a lot of people just participate in this process, because you may think, oh, I live in Asheville, I don't need to worry about the Buncombe County plan, but how often do you just go to the Walmart and you're in the unincorporated part of the county? So just being aware of that your voice matter. And we realize that various communities and different demographics are found in different areas, but we want all those voices to come, because equity was at the center of this plan. And as we say, it's 20 years, so just think how you can participate in that process. 20 years does sound like a long time, but as Halyee had mentioned, possibly this spring they approve this plan, and those actions start going into effect next year. And so we really want community to understand, and you may have said, I filled out that survey before, but just keep checking into the process, stay engaged in it. Just a reminding community, you always can find information about the comprehensive plan at buncombecounty.org under the comprehensive plan. And also Engage Buncombe. That's our public input website, which really gathers a lot of your demographics where you're at. So share with your community, your church family, your friends, to just really participate in this process. We all here, and we're trying to make a better future for the future and the people that we live in. So again, you can always go out to buncombecounty.org under the comprehensive plan to get caught up. And you also can sign up for a newsletter. So that newsletter where it'll come out to you to let you know where these phases, where we at in the phase, what events are happening, and where you can participate in that process. Halyee had mentioned that some of these upcoming events are starting here in December. We know it's the holidays, so starting around January at the beginning of the new year into February, this exhibit will be traveling around the county, and you also can find it virtually as well to participate in that process. So we're here to keep community engaged, informed on the information, and always we're looking for your participation to make this a better Buncombe County for everyone.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, anything you want to end?
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Was
awesome. I'm glad I got to share a little bit about the comp plan, the exhibit, the final draft. Oh, not the final draft, the draft plan, the final chapter. And just to reiterate a little bit of what Leonard said, you'll have until February 13th to review the draft plan.
Leonard, is there anything you want to leave?
You always can go to buncombecounty.org to find out more information about this comprehensive plan under the Buncombe County 2043 Comprehensive Plan.
You gotta love Professor Jones. Gotta love that guy. Halyee, once again, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us today. Leonard, I always thank you for being my amazing co-host. And I just want to say to all our listeners out there, it's so funny how we say as we get older, I could have sworn it was just October.
Yes.
And here it is, January of the next year. Time waits for no one. And if we don't have a plan, then we'll be sitting there like, I can't believe we haven't made any changes to our communities. I can't believe we're stuck in this situation. We plan for everything. We plan weddings, we plan family reunions, we plan kids' birthday parties, we plan our vacations. But do we ever plan for the destination of our community in the future? And that is where we are now. It's funny how you look back, and I know many of you all probably still have like your old high school senior yearbook and ask those questions. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Whether you got there or not, you had ideas on how to get there. And maybe this is a chance for you to go back and say, hey, where do I see myself in Buncombe County in 2043? And what do I need to do to make sure that these things are continuing to happen? How can I be involved? Of course, you can go to engage.buncombecounty.org and you can go ahead and get re-involved and stay involved so that we can build a better Buncombe County together. As Leonard said, sometimes we say, I live in Asheville. I have to be honest with you. All of this is not Asheville. Some of the places you are living in is Buncombe County. And that's okay.
Yes.
That is absolutely okay. You are still part of the fold. But get involved. As this new year comes running towards us full speed like a train, let's take a moment, sit back, get off of social media and log on to this engage.buncombecounty.org and really take a moment to invest. We invest into so many things. And as we look forward to making New Year's resolutions that we're going to break as soon as February 1st comes, let's together make this New Year resolution to get involved with the comprehensive plan and leave our fingerprint in the sands of Buncombe County.
Oh, I like that.
As always, it is a joy to talk to each and every one of you all. And from us to you, always remained tapped in with Buncombe County.
Thank you for listening to Tapped In, Buncombe County's half hour to empower, here on WRES 100.7 FM in Nashville. Learn more about today's topics at buncombecounty.org. Otherwise, stay tuned for more great episodes coming up.